So last week I went to Geneva. You may already know that if you follow me on Instagram, because I have all my behind the scenes photos on there. And if you don't already follow me, why not? It's free and you get to see all my behind the scenes. But nevertheless, I went to Geneva and I saw some amazing attractions, such as the water jet in the harbour and the garden clock nearby. But I also visited the boutiques of the watchmaking Holy Trinity. So now relax as I walk you through my experiences in each boutique in the order I visited them. So starting off with Vacheron Constantin. The entrance walls were a classic piano black with gold streaks running throughout, and when I entered I noticed how spacious and modern the design was, feeling more like a hotel lobby instead of a boutique for watches. There were sections inside the store showing you the process of making these watches, from forging the alloys all the way to finishing the movements. The displays were absolutely beautiful in their simplicity, showing the watches with a clean elegance with a tiny bit of gold inlay around. I was then approached by a member of staff asking if I needed any assistance. I then responded by asking to see a few of their models, and so I was offered a drink and then taken to a seat at their viewing table. The watches were absolutely exceptional, and despite English not being her primary language, she was very well spoken. Her knowledge was very impressive and she made an effort to not speak at me but engage with me about the watches. She was also very open to me filming and even helped me film the watches in certain positions. This level of customer service is absolutely marvellous to see from such a prestigious brand. Patek Philippe's entrance looked very aged and weathered in comparison to Vacheron's, but they also had very unique window displays showing dried forest flora surrounding their watches. And upon entering the building, I was struck by a pungent aroma of rich lavender and agar trees. I was then instantly transported back to what seemed like a 1920s dinner party. The decor was traditional and yet refined. I was then showed to the sitting room after asking to view a Calatrava, and the room was once again exceptionally decorated, almost to the point of claustrophobia with how detailed the walls and ceilings were. The gentleman attending to my request was clearly very enthusiastic about his job, and you could see this was not just a job for him, but it was a proud hobby of his. He engaged with me absolutely amazingly, and I've got to say this was an outstanding experience straight off the bat. The watches he brought out were beautiful and elegant in design, and the price tag reflected that. But what set this boutique apart from any other was the level of service the gentleman would show me, not only recommending watches off our conversation, but he'd also bring out watches that he thought I'd just enjoy. That level of attention to your customer is pure class. They're not reciting a script trying to meet a sales quota, but instead reading the customer and engaging what I want out of the experience. Just before I left, he gifted me with a VIP pass to the Patek Philippe Museum that I was already going to visit the same day. What an incredibly hard act for Audemars Piguet to follow. As I approached Audemars Piguet and I walked through the doors, people looked at me as if I didn't belong there. There was no greeting or acknowledgement of any sort. I feel like this is similar to what non-watch people think is going to happen when they approach a watch dealership for the first time. It is not adequate at all. So I approached a member of staff asking to view a watch, to be told there was no available staff members at the time and I would have to wait. I was okay with this, so I looked around the boutique, and that's when I realised the display cases were either empty or contained royal oaks. There was no selection at all. I was then approached by another member of staff telling me that I had to have a long-standing relationship with the boutique before I was able to book an appointment to view a watch. I was both baffled and annoyed at this revelation, feeling spoken down to and unwanted. I then left the boutique feeling just disappointed, and what a missed opportunity it was. In the summary of today's video, I want to try and get across the point that it's not always about selling a watch on the day, but trying to leave the customer with something to aspire towards. To try and create the idea of a Grail watch being your brand's watch instead of the competition. That way, later down the line, the customer may be able to buy a Grail watch and they may choose your brand over the rest simply because you showed them more decency and respect when they first came into your store. You didn't turn them away or treat them like scum, but you gave them the opportunity to try on watches that they knew they couldn't afford, but then they could aspire towards. This is how I'd summarise my Holy Trinity experience. AP really missed the mark. Vacheron were great, but Patek was remarkable. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment saying so, and if you want to see more content like this in the future, why not subscribe? It's free after all. But until this video, goodbye.